want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then, what is this? Says squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack, but then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day. Right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally, because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order, and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. What's happening, friends? What's the word? How y'all feel today? How y'all feel this morning? Yeah, man. It's been a long week. How y'all feel? What's happening? What's going on? I appreciate everybody for continuing to rock with me. Is anybody out there affected by this whole technology thing? We're going to deal with that early in the morning before we get to the Republican speech and Trump's speech and the nomination and Dallas mayor switching over sides and people being upset about that, and Philly workers being told to come back into the office, and women is out here killing people with samurai swords and stuff. So there's no shortage of news for us to deep dive into. And we gotta stay focused. We gotta stay getting to it. You know what I'm saying? So what's up to my friends and family? What's up to all of the people that's in the chat? I love you. I appreciate you. Somebody said they catching me live for the first time. Welcome. Welcome. Well rested. Thursdays and Friday nights, I usually get a little bit more rest, so I'm appreciative of that. Well rested, making sure that we get to the bag and running it up. I hope that this this technology outage, and it's affecting a lot of the different airlines. I hope that does not affect my guests that is coming in today for me to be able to rock out with and have some conversations with. I'm going to have to check on her and see what the word is out in these streets. I hope that does not affect her, because we're going to be cooking up some dope content specifically for the Patreon. I think I'm going to release a new video today, a new pre-recorded video. It's going to be about 45 minutes long, and it's going to do my breakdown of a lot of the things that's happening in society and popular culture, including Kamala Harris eventually becoming the president of the United States of America. Is that a possibility? I'm going to get that video out there for y'all this afternoon, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. So what up to my friends and my family out here in these streets? I appreciate y'all. I want to give a shout out to Tech Coach Ralph and Yakar for being recognized by Amazon inside of the Discord for doing some of the awesome things that they are doing. Thank you guys for continuing to show up for my chasers. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure y'all tap in. The link to the Discord is associated with Patreon, and it is basically an accessory, or it's an extension of what we do inside of it. And you guys can really find out some deep things, some dope things. They do a lot of things inside of the Bag Chasers Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. So make sure y'all get into that. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Thank you, Tiege Hanley, for continuing to rock out and sponsor what we got going on over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. And After Hours was up last night, and we probably going to do the same thing tonight. So make sure y'all tuned into everything that we got going on. Thinking about getting rid of one of my channels, the Room 9 channel, because I just do not have the capacity. And I do not want to be stretched thin to where it then starts to affect other things that I got going on that's already in motion. You know what I'm saying? Building is always fun, but what you got going on in motion, you can't let none of that slip. You know what I'm saying? I got corporate America. I got things that I got to get delivered on that. So I'm going to be working a little bit overtime over the weekend. No sleep, no rest for the weary. And then you know that we're going to be doing the meetup. We're going to be doing the meetup in Houston next weekend. Do not share the location. It is only for Bag Chasers. And so I'm looking forward to kicking it with y'all with that. I got to get my hotel room. The link to the Discord is in the description of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. So don't nobody got to give it to you. If you're a bag chaser, you know how to get it. All of the most recent videos got a link to the Discord. You know what I'm saying? So what up to sister? What up to Brittany? What up to everybody that's in the chat? I love y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Kimmy says working in a hospital in Oklahoma, then all of our network services are down. Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to get there. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to give an early shout out to my guy, Mike That Dude. Shout out to Mike That Dude. Shout out to everybody that show love. On Cash App. I appreciate y'all. Also want to give a shout out to my dude, ESDC. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down on Cash App. Let me get a couple of these super chats in there, and then we got to go ahead and get into the show, because I heard that Trump speech was long, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to look at the whole thing, but we definitely going to get to it. Flight Suit J, or was you trying to say Flight Suite? Suit and Suite is two different things. The E makes a difference. It's top of the morning. Join the Bag Chasers last week. Shout out to the new chasers. Shout out to the 81, almost 8,200 plus. I haven't checked it this morning. So shout out to y'all. I appreciate you, to everybody that's rocking out. Tanisha, shout out to my girl Tanisha with the super sticker. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. I love you. I like to read the super chats throughout the show because I like to acknowledge the people. I never ask for it. The people support on their own. And so I just acknowledge everybody, no matter what you give, no matter what it is, even if it's just the life of the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate y'all. How about we go ahead and get started with the show, right? Quick Hits, ladies and gentlemen. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we just want to keep you guys in a loop on what's going on out in these streets. We don't need to dedicate an entire segment to each individual subject, but we got to keep y'all in the loop of what's happening out here in these streets. First things first, Lou Dobbs. Some of y'all, he was before y'all time, but he was largely considered a pioneer in the financial space with regard to journalism and bringing finances and the conversations about money to the forefront of national broadcasting. So I owe him some appreciation. You owe him some appreciation for being here. We owe him some appreciation as chasers as far as his dedication and largely his impact on what is happening in the news today or the journalism space today with regard to finances.
First, some sad news we want to pass along. This really hits the Fox family very hard. Lou Dobbs, the veteran cable news journalist and one of the early pioneers of financial journalism on television. Lou Dobbs is dead. He has died at the age of 78. We don't know the details on that other than he has passed away. President Trump has weighed in on it, saying that the great Lou Dobbs has just passed away, a friend, an incredible journalist, reporter, and talent. He understood the world and what was happening. Fox News Media, for its part, extended condolences to the Dobbs family in a statement. We are deeply saddened by the passing of Lou Dobbs, an incredible businessman with a gift for broadcasting. Lou helped pioneer cable news into a successful and influential industry. We are immensely grateful for his many contributions and to send our heartfelt condolences to his family. As someone who sort of grew up realizing that financial journalism had a place on TV, Lou was part of that early pioneer crowd. He perfected it to the point that he was appointment viewing, and he was for all his days on TV. Lou Dobbs gone at 78. We'll have more.
So, condolences to the family, but I will say that he lived to the ripe age of 78. Look, bro, in today's time with the type of food that we eating and all of the GMOs and the diseases and the pollution in the air and cancer everywhere and ops running around inside of your cities and Homelander is flying back and forth and A-Train is sticking needles up in women's arms. You are very, very blessed to die of old age and to live to be 78 years old. 78 years old, that'd give me another, 36 years on this earth? Oh, man, if I can get another 36 years, I'm in there like swimwear. So shout out to Lou Dobbs. Lou Dobbs, a pioneer in the financial news space. Rest in peace to him, but he lived to the ripe age of 78, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely, positively a blessing. 78 is a blessing. We can't live forever. We just got to take the time that we have on this earth, and it goes like that. Take the time that we have on this earth and really capitalize off of it and utilize it. Yeah, A-Train, K. Cooper. A lot of people are not familiar with the boys. Quentin and Slimmy put me onto the boys. So shout out to Lou Dobbs and his family. Rest in peace. We hope that the family is in good spirits, all right? In addition to that, an Illinois deputy is charged with murder after shooting a woman in the face unnecessarily. Check it out.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is outraged over the killing of a black woman in Sangamon County.
Sonia Massey was shot on July 6th by a sheriff's deputy who responded to her 911 call. Well, that deputy is now facing criminal charges.
Our Tia Ewing is in studio with a developing story. Tia.
Well, Scott and Sylvia, this story is making national headlines going beyond this state. This shooting is leading to several protests in southern Illinois. Court documents released today detail the incidents that happened on July 6th, saying that the deputy shot 36-year-old Sonia Massey, who you see here, in her face during a tense moment over a pot of water in her home. The deputy has been identified as Sean Grayson. Prosecutors say after he shot Massey, he discouraged another deputy from getting a medical kit from their vehicle. In a statement released this week, the Sangamon County State's attorney says a review of body camera video doesn't support the use of deadly force. Governor J.B. Pritzker says he is grateful that charges have now been filed.
We've seen too much of this, where an innocent person, unarmed, who actually called for assistance, was the the target and the victim of a shooting by a police officer. And this is not, it does not reflect on all police officers. This particular sheriff's deputy committed a crime.
Yeah, I agree. And this is one of the instances where I think that you absolutely need to be charged. They called you for assistance. You show up, they are unarmed, and then y'all get into a confrontation about a pot of water inside of her home. You wind up shooting her and then discourage another deputy from getting a first aid kit out of the truck to administer help for her. She loses her life. You absolutely need to be locked up. And I'm going to be paying attention to the details because I want to know more insight about what happens out here in these streets. But yeah, absolutely 100%. Because if this is happening here, there's no telling what was happening prior to them actually getting body cams. So thank God for body cams. I'm going to try to pull the body cam with the Freedom of Information Act from what was going on over there so we can deep dive into it a little bit more. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, a woman kills another woman with a samurai sword.
To a brutal attack in San Dimas that has left one person dead and 2 others hurt. The weapon, a samurai sword. The deadly attack happened at around 3:30 this afternoon in a normally quiet neighborhood.
Investigators say the bloody attack may have started as some sort of domestic dispute.
KTLA's Rick Chambers live in San Dimas with more on just what happened. Rick.
Yeah, Micah, this does look like some sort of an argument between 3 female family members, but at this point, what caused it to turn violent suddenly, we don't know. But the fact that the 2 survivors only speak Mandarin Chinese is slowing the investigation.
Ni Kui Shua Potong Kwama, Wa Kui Shua Idiar Potong Kwa. They speak in Mandarin? Wa Shoda Bohao. Jesus Christ. They only speak Mandarin Chinese? Okay, we know where it is. We know what's happening. We know where the samurai sword came from.
A woman walks along Huntington Avenue here in San Dimas with a sword in her hand.
Christ.
Her legs appear to be cut, a trail of blood behind her on the sidewalk. Sheriff's deputies then, responding to what they think is a rescue call, roll up on the woman near a rental van in the street and tell her to drop the sword.
That female then directs them to a residence on the street where the deputies find an additional female suffering also from lacerations, who was later pronounced dead at the scene. And as they continued through the residence, an additional female was found in the residence.
Somebody said I thought Anton was actually speaking the language. I am speaking the language. Y'all don't know about me? Yes, that is really the language. Go back and replay it and show it to your friends and then ask them what I said. I'm not going to tell you what I said. You can ask them what I said. Yes, I do speak the language.
Unharmed
and fluently.
Who was also transferred to a local hospital due to a medical emergency.
We understand that that may have been a heart attack. But what prompted this deadly struggle between at least 2 of what police are describing as Chinese women is unknown.
Preliminary investigation suggests there may be a family relation, but again, because of the language barrier, we have not confirmed that.
A little bit. You need a translator, come on, holla at Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I have a lot of hidden talents.
Uneasy because I don't know what's going on.
Local residents who were kept from returning to their homes near the crime scene are understandably shaken.
Shocked, surprised.
You always got haters in the chat. Y'all feeling some type of way? Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater your whole life. Get you another language. Get you another language and then do you a morning show.
So yes, it doesn't happen in this neighborhood. I mean, you see it in the news and other places, but just shocked it happened here so close.
Yeah. No one else was wounded by the sword, and detectives say there is no further threat to this local community. And we understand that interpreters have been sent both here to the scene and to the hospital. We're hoping anyway to have more information tomorrow.
Shout out to all of the people out here in the streets that's cutting people up with samurai swords. Be careful, man. We don't know what the piss is happening in these houses. These people come outside and they be looking all nice and acting like everything is cool. Meanwhile, somebody got chopped up with a samurai sword. All 3 women is getting into a confrontation. Somebody grab a samurai sword. Y'all be thinking that these other communities is just all peaches and cream. They got issues just like you. They got issues. They even talk about it online just like you. And all of these, that's just not a part of your algorithm. And you don't speak the language. So that's all that is. It's women all over the globe. That's absolutely, they doing what women do, all right? And they speak in other languages while they do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right, let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to continue on with the show. My local news is affected. The anchors are reading from their phones. Well, we not affected over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We not on Windows 10. We're going to get to that in a minute. No B-roll is playing, and the meteorologist is using her computer for a forecast. So poor. That's why we the biggest show and we the best show out here in these streets. Shout out to the Great Way. Chase Barnes. Yeah, they over there looking stupid. Chase Barnes says, happy Friday, AD and peeps. I have a question for you, AD. So since you have lived through both Trump and Joe's presidency so far, what is one major pro and con from both you can highlight for us? Okay, well, one major pro and one major con from both. Okay, so let's start with the bad. We're going to start with Joe. I'm going through the pro. Give me a second. Let's start with Trump, all right? One major pro and one major con. The pro, it's a lot of pros with Trump, but I think that the fact that we started no new wars and we lowered taxes while at the same time saving jobs with the North American Free Trade Agreement and then going hard against China is some of the things that was really, really a blessing. And then I'm going to go with a pro or, okay, so let's go with the con with Trump now. It was really nothing about his presidency. I don't know about a con. I can't think of any cons with Trump and his presidency at all. Honestly, I'm genuinely trying to think about it. I can't think of anything. I don't know of anything that he did bad during his presidency. Honestly. I'm going to get to Joe in a minute. Let me think of something. Hold on. Give me a second. A con during his, from 2016 to 2020, I thrived. I honestly thrived. I genuinely thrived. 2016 through 2020. I can't think of any cons during 2016 through 2020. I just can't. Okay, well, if y'all saying it is something, then tell me. I think he handled the pandemic as best as he could. Majority of the states was in control of what was happening during the pandemic. Come on, man. If the best that y'all can come up with is the tweeting was bad, stop, bro. If you want to get mad at what happened in your state, then get on your governor. All the pandemic proved was that the governors had more power than we realized that they had. International leaders was not happy with Trump. Well, they wasn't supposed to be happy with him because he was doing the thing that was in the best interest of us, not them. It wasn't about them. It was about us. I can't think of anything. Honestly, I just can't think of anything. I'm genuinely trying to think about something personally that I didn't like about Trump's presidency from 2016 through 2020. He never helped Puerto Rico. I don't give a fuck about Puerto Rico. What do I care about Puerto Rico? Yeah, there you go. He picked Mike Pence as his vice president. There you go. So that's a con. A pro and a con for Joe. I think that, let's start with the pro. I think that Joe Biden, with the CHIPS Act, was necessary. There were some other things in there that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I think that he handled the CHIPS Act as far as his passing of that into the legislature. I think that that was necessary, and so I'll give him some props for that. Oh, man, don't even tell me about the cons. Inflation. I'll just go with the worst thing that from Joe Biden for me. Him leaving open the borders to the tune of more than 15 million people, and then also battling Texas to make sure that they leave their borders open when they wanted to close the borders. I just think that his presidency was an absolute 100% failure 100% of the time. So, yeah, man, I think that the CHIPS Act was a good thing that he was able to get passed through the legislation. The infrastructure deal, I'm not sure so much, but the CHIPS Act was a good thing, but he had so many cons. It just is what it is. All right, let's get into it. That's a phenomenal question. Thank you, Chase Burns, for that question. That's an awesome question. I want y'all to hit me with more of those type of questions. Trump approved bump stock ban. That's a con. Y'all reaching. Stop it, bro. Jay Hunter Lee says, con for Trump, he didn't fire Dr. Fauci. That was the only issue that I had. Well, we didn't know that we was about to end up in a pandemic, so, I mean, it is what it is. All right, y'all, let's continue on with the show. First things first, let's dig into this major technology outage before we get into the Trump speech, because that speech was long. It was over an hour long. And we're not going to go through all of it, but we're going to try to get through the hard points and speak to whether or not it's true, or if we liked what he said, or if we didn't like what he said. But the first thing that we want to address is this technology outage around the world. Oh, let me also give a shout out to Emmanuel Williams. He said, would you ever do an Anton Daniels app? Yeah, but the only way that I would do an Anton Daniels app is if I didn't feel like Patreon was doing what they were supposed to do and it wasn't a good platform anymore. But Patreon has been very, very good to us. They've been a really great platform and a good technology partner. So as of right now, I don't see any reason to drop an app unless I can go direct to consumer, but that would take a lot of resources in order to do so. So thank you, Emmanuel Williams, for the chat. I appreciate you. I'm going to read the super chats continuously throughout the show. But this technology outage around the world, let's dive into it and let's see what's happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Talking of wild events,
what up, 2K?
This Microsoft thing feels like it's hard to quantify at this point. There has been an outage. They're talking about it being in a degraded, some of the 365 suite being in a degraded state. There are technical issues popping up in strange places this morning that I don't know whether we can join the dots yet or not on, but it feels like there's something bigger afoot.
Gotta love the cloud, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're one business and your IT goes down, that's just you. But if lots of businesses are attached to the same IT infrastructure and that goes down, then there's a bigger problem. And so that's what we seem to be seeing today. Microsoft saying that yes, they remain in a degraded state, to use those words. We're also seeing several airlines and airports globally facing widespread IT issues. Yeah. And there do seem to be links between these stories. The LSE has already told us this morning they're investigating technical issues regarding RNS statements, whether news flow will come quickly from them is not clear.
And we should remember to say that the context is important here. You mentioned some of the airlines as well. Frontier Group was one of the ones that was initially having issues. I think you mentioned the Cathay Pacific as well. Remember, this is...
How many people actually fly Frontier? I've never flown Frontier in my entire life. I've caught a Spirit flight before. I've caught a Southwest flight. I've caught an American Airlines flight before. I've flown on all three of those places one time in my entire life. Nope, I flew on Spirit twice because I did a Spirit flight from Tampa to Miami. I did a Spirit flight from Tampa to Miami. It was like a 40-minute flight or something like that. But I've never flown Frontier. How's Frontier? Y'all know anything about Frontier? They say that they're one of the ones that's affected the most.
It happened a couple of hours ago, and it was since reported resolved in the meantime. And you're also now seeing a headline come out of ABC, for example, saying American Airlines and Delta asked that the U.S. FAA ground all flights. So this is turning into a more global issue.
That is, if we're seeing...
And we've got United now saying it. United.
Thank God we didn't do the Patreon meetup this weekend. We're going to do it next weekend. Let me give a round of applause. God knows, and he works in mysterious ways. I considered this weekend. I said, nah, let's do it the weekend after.
Ground stop all flights. This is according to from the ATC. So from Air Traffic Control, FAA, ATC advisory in the United States. That's not even from another
ground stop
media
we've seen ground stops before. This is a huge issue. If we are seeing basically the US domestic fleet, international fleet potentially being grounded as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely enormous. We've seen this in the past. We have seen the technical systems in the US falling over for a relatively minor part of the system.
Yeah.
Being I think it was pilot updates in the past, and that had a huge impact.
Yeah, well, this brings us back a little bit to, and I think I was on location actually in LaGuardia when that happened.
Yeah.
It brings us back to the whole Southwest story and what kind of issues are unveiled from that kind of grounding.
Yeah, it's interesting as well that some time ago, in fact, about an hour and a half ago, we seem to be getting the message from Microsoft that this had all been resolved.
Yeah.
Let me see something.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, baby girl?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Is your flight affected by this whole technology outage?
Not that I know of.
You sure?
It looks fine to me. I'm about to check now. I see other airlines are, though.
All right. Well, if you're unaffected, then that's cool.
I'll double check throughout the morning. It's not till 1 o'clock.
All right. Just keep me in the loop before you fly in.
I got you.
All right. Bye. Yeah, I wonder if Delta is that affected because they're saying that they fixed it, but then at the same time, it's a lot of airlines that's saying that they grounding all flights. So I'm going to just have to stay up to date of what's happening on this because I got some people that's flying into the city to shoot some content with me.
And then we get the update that they remain in a degraded state.
Yep.
So, good to hear that Microsoft is working on these issues, but clearly there was some uncertainty as to whether there was still a problem, and it seems that there still is. Turkish Airlines also giving updates. Sorry if you mentioned that already, Chrissy.
No.
But saying that they are taking action to resolve the issues
No, that's not Q. Q is not flying in Detroit today, all right?
there. So, the tentacles of this one seem to go far.
Yeah. And I don't think yet we fully understand the implications of all of this. If you start grounding aircraft globally, it's not just today that this will be in effect for. Yeah. This will have a lasting effect throughout the weekend.
Somebody said
this will take a long time to resolve. As
Delta?
soon as the schedules start to get messed up, then you have got a lasting problem that lasts hours and days.
Okay, now Delta as well then. We're getting that update, that official news as well. Delta Airlines ground stop all flights, FAA advisory.
So right off the bat, 2 of the 5 major carriers in the States. And I should mention, of course, it's nighttime in the States, so there isn't that many flights about right now. But the minute they will.
Yeah, people will be starting to get up. It'll be early morning flights.
Yeah.
This is not necessarily Microsoft itself. It is from Crowdstrike. Crowdstrike is a separate company that Microsoft utilizes, and they push through an update. That's what I'm reading. Let me read this real quick. It's saying that it's linked to CrowdStrike, and it's a software update from the cybersecurity company's CrowdStrike that basically disrupted the IT systems globally. So a lot of people keep saying Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft is being affected as a result of it. Let me see what's happening. Yeah. Microsoft is being affected as a result of it, but they're utilizing CrowdStrike, which is basically a cybersecurity firm. And then they pushed through an update that affected systems worldwide that ultimately is even affecting a lot of these news companies. And they read news off of their phone and they don't have the technology to be able to do what they do. My systems is 100% Mac. So I got Mac-based everything. Only Microsoft computer that I have is the one from work, and I haven't even dialed in to work yet because I don't even have to do that till 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So we'll see what happens.
They're not going to be happening. So that news will start to have a ripple effect in a big way. You've got inbound flights as well. They're going to be coming in. It's unclear at this point what the technical issue is going to be in terms of where the problem lies. Is it moving aircraft around the terminal? Is it check-in? Is that the problem? Is it something to do with safety, or is it simply just the inability to check passengers in? We don't know yet.
And we should emphasize we still don't know how much
But this also speaks to our dependency on technology, which is good and bad in a way, right? Depending on what type of industry you're in. So, for example, now people are taking advantage of the opportunity to say, no, we should never move to a cashless society because see what could happen is happening. AI is happening. Automation is happening. We are moving to a technology-based society. We cannot put the genie back in the bottle. It is going to happen. On the flip side, technology workers, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And the reason that I'm saying thank you is because, or you should be thankful, because this speaks to the importance of cybersecurity, software engineering, cloud infrastructure, all of the things that eventually is going to be the most needed and the most critical going forward in society. You're not going to just be able to depend on manual systems anymore. And so the ones that will be the most championed, even if there's lows, even if there's highs and lows, even if there's layoffs because there was too much hiring during the pandemic and stuff like that, when I tell you that these are the most critical jobs that is going to be making all of the money, and there's going to be more of a demand for it as a society continues to push towards the technology sector, I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you that we are never going back to a manual-based society. Gas cars will eventually be phased out. I was looking at the new Porsches and the new Audis and even the new Bentley that's coming out, the new Bentley GT. And all of them are utilizing hybrid systems in order to eliminate the emissions or to get better gas mileage or to meet the criteria worldwide. See, a lot of y'all think that we only living in a society that's based off of the U.S. standards. That's out the door. All of the standards are based off of worldwide standards. So when these car manufacturers create these cars, because they have to create the most efficient systems, it's a bunch of technology that's in these systems. So when we looking at over-the-cloud air updates and the new technology that's in these cars, and they move into hybrid before they could try to move over to fully electric, because a lot of different people in a lot of countries, including the United States of America, tend to reject it or tend to reject progress in that way because they want to keep their old gas cars. That is going to be a thing of the past. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a thing of the past. And so we can sit there, we can fight it, but it is coming, bro. It is absolutely coming.
This is an end.
Good morning. Good to see you. You are coming on the air right now with breaking news. A massive global technical outage tied to Crowdstrike, which is a major cybersecurity provider, has knocked critical computer infrastructure offline all across the country and, in fact, all around the world.
I remember when people used to reject hybrids. They hated hybrids. I don't want a hybrid. I feel like I'm going to be driving a Prius. Now people are embracing hybrids because they don't want to go fully electric. It's just the way of the world, whether you like it or not.
It's an issue with a software update. It's impacting lots and lots of Microsoft computer systems worldwide, from businesses to emergency services, 911, traffic lights, transit systems, and it's having a major impact on airlines as well. American, Delta, United, they're all keeping their flights grounded. You're looking at some live scenes
from the
airport.
Right?
It is chaos again, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and this is the scene now. They're having difficulty even printing any kind of boarding passes. This, of course, is a developing situation. The full scope of this problem remains to be seen. And Brian, as we get started right here in Studio 1A, we should point out computers at NBC News right here as we're getting on the air. We're trying to do some workarounds here to get on the air. But this is something that's affecting
people.
Hey,
look at that, the little cardboard thing in the background. That's not something that's usually there. That's there because they're using a workaround to try to mitigate the problem that they're overly dependent on this system in order to be able to do what they want to do. Yep, we're all integrated. We're all connected. And what happens to you over in Europe is going to be what's happening to NBC over here in their special report. They kept that in the background. That's probably something that they had for if a pandemic breaks out. They probably got that same special report background bulletin for when the pandemic was breaking out. They just kept it in the back room. Some producer said, oh man, we can put that in the back. That's what it is. That's a pandemic special report background right there. They usually have TVs and technology and all that stuff. Man, that ain't real. That ain't even what that was used for. Special report. Okay.
worldwide.
Yeah, and other newsrooms, our partners over at Sky News, having issues as well. I mean, this is impacting all different types of businesses. When you talk about airlines, you also talk about, just 911 services in some cases reporting outages as well. And you're even hearing of anecdotes of banks in other countries experiencing that. We don't yet have reporting of banks in the United States being impacted by this, but this appears to be not just in the United States, worldwide and across different types of industries.
This definitely speaks to what I feel like is the fragility of the situation. Right. It's like this is not a cyber attack. This is a computer kind of snafu that happened.
Yeah, and just to kind of
talk about people that don't really know what they're talking about, and this is like a computer snafu. This tells you that these people just read the news. They go home. Some producer puts up the news. See, we got to do real research because we're independent, right? And in order for us to compete, the internet is the great equalizer, and we do a better show than they do. But it's a computer snafu. Man, they throw on their little outfits. They get their makeup done, and they jump in front of the TV. Han over here is probably one of the first times that he'd have never led a broadcast because he's the only person that knows what he's talking about and can relatively speak to the technology aspect of what they're talking about out here in these streets. But yeah, man, they just come up there and read the news. They don't know what they're talking about.
On here. So this appears to be an issue between CrowdStrike and Microsoft. So CrowdStrike, for those that aren't familiar, is a cybersecurity firm that basically provides businesses with a way to foolproof their systems from being hacked. Now, apparently what happened was that CrowdStrike was working on some sort of update. We just heard from the CEO in the last few minutes describing this as not a security incident or cyber attacks. So I don't repeat that again. It doesn't appear to be a cyber attack at issue here. But the reason why CrowdStrike is so instrumental to not just businesses here in the United States, but around the world is because any sort of business that hires CrowdStrike to basically foolproof their systems, well, they're going to be incorporating that into their computers. So if they get...
Look at Han. He was paying attention. He's probably fully integrated. He at one point, he was a part of a FANG. He could speak so fluently to it. Hey, they have not put Han on TV in a long time, but Han is over here schooling him, and he's showing his worth. He's showing his value. He's securing his job. He's securing that bag. Get that bag, Han. I don't even know if his name is Han. He looked like a Han, though, right?
Get that. It's being plugged into Microsoft computers. If there's an issue with CrowdStrike, it takes down all of those Microsoft computers that are related to that. The company's saying Mac and Linux computers are not impacted, but again, this is very widespread.
Interesting because I think what happened was a lot of people, this was happening in Australia, Europe, while we were all sleeping. We woke up and we were like, what's going on? But what people are finding is they're getting on their computers or at the bank or at the airline and they're seeing just a blue screen. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, well, the term for this is called the blue screen of death. And I don't know if we have examples that we can show on the screen right now, but we've been seeing it even in our newsrooms this morning. So it's basically this blue screen that has this prompt that says, you're having issues and they're basically trying to figure out a workaround. But that essentially bricks your computer. You are unable to log in. Now, that's scary for any person that's just trying to log into their personal computer, although it's not clear if your personal computer has CrowdStrike. If it doesn't have that plugin or have that cybersecurity layer, you likely won't be affected because of the nature of what we understand this issue to be.
My Mac products are fine also. I haven't had any problems at all, not even one. And my entire systems is based off of Mac. So I need to log into my work computer and see what's happening.
But for all these enterprise companies, which is translation for corporate customers that use this protection, well, that's a major issue. If you can't log in, you can't print out the boarding passes to get people on their planes. You can't, as a bank teller, even get fired up to help open up someone's deposit account. This is a major issue. CrowdStrike says that they have an issue. They identified the issue, they isolated it, and there's a fix that has been deployed. How long that fix takes to basically patch over all this, we don't know, as it seems like anecdotes of these issues and outages.
So anyways, if you are catching a flight this afternoon, long story short, you may be delayed. If you're having any kind of issues whatsoever with your computer because you are on a PC, you might have issues. If you are at work, then you're probably going to have to do some workarounds. You're going to have to do some real work and have to do some manual labor. If you work from home, you're probably going to be able to get a day off and get paid for it anyway. So looks like my work computer is working fine. I'm not seeing any issues with that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's basically what's happening from the technology aspect of things, all right? Let me read a few of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Don Winkler says, I like Trump, but he politicized the military. Never good, and that's coming from a retired Marine of 30 years. The military has always been politicized. The military is the thing that we fund the most as far as taxpayers, so That's the thing that we have to speak to. It's the only reason why we're able to exercise the level of control that we have over the world. The military is 100%. The military was politicized before Trump even got into office. In a lot of ways, man, don't let me get going on that. 100% the military has always been politicized. Imagine Onward says, check your P.O. box, PTTS, bag chasers, next $2 bill from Donald Trump, potential term at Imagine Onward store. Shout out to Imagine Onward. I'll definitely check my P.O. box. Thank you, my friend. Patrice Jean-Baptiste says, good morning, Anton, working in cybersecurity at a casino. This CrowdStrike outage is affecting blue screen on our devices. This is why a single point of failure and over-reliance on one software is always concerning. I agree. Hopefully not at Hollywood Casino that kicked me out this past weekend. Mama says Operation Warp Speed needs to be investigated. I like Trump. The hospitals need to be held accountable for the children for trans surgery and fix the schools. Shout out to Mama. I appreciate you, baby girl. Chase Barnes says Frontier is a funeral ride. What? What up, AD? Just showing some Friday love. Shout out to Humberto Ramos. Ken J is in the building, says it wasn't a cyber attack. It was a bug and an update from cybersecurity company CrowdStrike. Yep, absolutely. Tech Coach Ralph in the building says, I hate to be the QA engineer for CrowdStrike who approved this release. Oh, Heads is going to roll. Heads is absolutely going to roll on that one. Good morning, AD. Any ideas on what side hustle / career job a person can do on a weekend? Yeah. DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. Absolutely. And then you work on your business in the meantime, in between of it. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would get on Fiverr. I would get on Upwork. I would be on all of these different sites. It's one that you could do like handyman where they hang TVs and stuff like that. And then make sure you carry cards with you. Get some cards made up to where you can share your phone number. So if anybody needs you, they won't have to book you through that platform and you can get 100% of the profits and the proceeds. If you're just looking for a quick hustle to get some money, 100%. Absolutely. I still believe in cutting grass, so it's different for me. Jeffrey Turner says, Trump said illegal immigration affects blacks and Hispanics the most. What an insult. What about real Americans whose country is being stolen right from under them? No till legal or illegal invasion. All right, let me express that. Shout out to Jeffrey Turner. When you say real Americans whose country is being stolen right from under them, don't you realize that this whole world is stolen from each other? I mean, listen, I'm absolutely in favor of Americans. I'm 100% on code when it comes to the American society and American culture that we see today. But let me be very, very honest and transparent with you, all right? This country was stolen when Europeans came here in the first place. Everything is stolen. So what do you mean, what about real Americans? We at war. We always at war. Since the beginning, since humans have been on this earth, we have been at war and in a fight to pick and choose what borders, who controls what, naming this, who has the best military, leveraging oil and resources from the ground and all of this stuff. So listen, if you're sitting here talking about real Americans, that is a made up thing. Now, I will say that the winners are the ones that can decide what happens. But when we say real Americans, let's be 100% honest here. Like, you know, I'm all for securing borders and all of that based off of the thing that I was born into. But if we look at the historical significance of any of these countries, any of these places, if you go over to Europe, you go to China, you go to Africa, you go to a lot of places, I'm not really sure you can say anything is real is what we make it. That's why I say culture is trash, because culture is the thing that we embrace the most. Come on, man, listen. Let's stop acting like this country has always been what it is. This country has been stolen from, pillaged, rebranded, and the country that you see today came at the bloodshed of a lot of other people on the good side and the bad side, and now we remix what we think is good and bad in order to justify our existence in this country. I don't know what a real American is anymore. But I understand your sentiment and I understand what you're saying. Shout out to my Canadians. Okay, you lost me by. Hey, listen, let me also say this. For those of you that feel like you need to make an announcement that you're leaving, we don't give a fuck. We don't care. You subscribe to type in the comments that you want to leave. God bless you. Guess what? I have been here for years. The numbers keep going up. We're going to still be rich after you. And just because you got your silver hair don't mean nothing to us. That don't mean anything. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. I appreciate you. Good luck. Have a nice day. You act like we are the only one. Man, shut the fuck up, bro. Real talk. Just shut up, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to make me open up the chat and give you the real deal. But anyways, let's continue on with the show. Let me read a few more super chats and then we're going to continue. Thank you. Ninolia. Is it Ninolia? Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Shout out to my people out here in these streets. Also says World Economic Forum predicted this. Jamal Parks is in the building and says, this is confirming that I need to make time for studying to get my cyber certification. Tech Coach Ralph. Shout out to Tech Coach Ralph and the Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Shout out to me for taking a day off / data engineer. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Lot in the building. I appreciate you. All right, y'all ready to get into the show? To get into the rest of the show anyways, we got to get into this Trump speech. So apparently Trump accepted the Republican nomination for President of the United States of America. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much.
What's up, baby girl?
Good morning. They just canceled it.
They canceled your flight?
Yeah, it's not allowing me to pick another time.
Okay. All right, give me about an hour. I'm going to call you back and we're going to figure something out.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bye.
Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. Reading that shortly.
Delegates and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. And freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you.
Yo, my man over here on the left was extremely dramatic. Hold on.
Thank you.
And my man that say fire Joe Biden, he looked like he was about to cry. Is this a Taylor Swift concert or is this a Republican National Convention? Dog. Look at these two gentlemen right here. Listen, I am absolutely 100%. I 100% believe that Trump is the best person to be president of the United States of America. However, these dudes are extra dramatic. I'm not crying. I'm not crying over who is going to be president of the United States of America. These oh, dog. This is a little bit much right here. Jesus Christ. Come on, big dog. Hey, somebody find out who this man is in the tan suit over here.
Thank you very much.
Shout out to Trump. Killing the game right now.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no. Is he really crying in real life? Okay. All right. Listen. I done seen it all. I have seen it all. I have never seen grown men cry over not like that. Not without it's a kid being born or it's a death in the family or, you know, their father gave them some acknowledgement that they never thought that they knew. And the father finally told them, I love you, son. You did a good job. Oh, my God. I've always wanted just to hear I've been living my life for your approval. I've never seen grown men cry like this.
Thank you very much.
Oh, dog. Listen. Oh, big dog. Come on, man. Come on, bro. You're right. People did cry for Obama, Christopher. You are 100% right. And I was like, what is wrong with these people when I seen them crying for Obama also? Let me tell you something. I was so broke in 2008. My daughter was born. I was broke as piss. I had to move back in my mama's basement. I had hope. The hope thing, I should have cried for Obama because I didn't know what. I just knew that we needed to get Bush out of there under all circumstances. There's no way that we're going to keep Bush. I've never seen nothing like this in my entire life. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Wow. Oh, no, dog. No, I ain't crying over no another grown man unless it's somebody that passed away. I can't do it. I can't. Not on national TV with cameras around too. No, you got to keep that to yourself, bro.
Much. And we will do it right. We're going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt.
Somebody said, will you be covering Obama calling for Biden to step down? I got a whole show that I'm releasing today about that.
At my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me.
So I'm wondering how people think that this is fake. Do people still think that it's fake? Does the Amanda Seals of the world and the D.L. Hugleys of the world and the Plies of the world and all of the people that we shouldn't be listening to, do they all still think that this is fake? Do they think that he planned to get hit just slightly on his ear in order to... Man, I'm telling you, bro, like, I honestly believe that he's just meant to lead the country for the next 4 years. I just believe that. In my heart, I believe that he's meant to lead the country.
Really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place.
This dude
I
is...
immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack. and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. At great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. The thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know.
Yeah, that's a real fake, y'all.
A single bullet is fired, just a single bullet. And we had many bullets that were being fired. Crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body.
That's true.
For whatever
Rita
reason,
told me
the
that.
doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
Talk to them. They didn't want to hear that part. They didn't want to hear that part.
In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it. I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
I'm telling y'all that y'all are literally, I don't know if y'all really taking this moment in. Seriously. 2024 and the series of events that happened in July, from January all the way through July, the series of events that has happened in this country and in history is going to go down, and it's going to be talked about hundreds of years from now. When y'all are old, 30 and 40 years from now, and I eventually retired from doing the Millionaire Morning Show because I just can't do it no more. And I was tired, boss, and I passed the baton of this huge company and this huge conglomerate and this media company that we built from scratch, and we could say that we was here and we built it from the very beginning. From the very beginning, that the channel eventually transitioned from after hours to the Millionaire Morning Show and to the afternoon and then back to the morning. And then we continued to build these huge platforms. And then we have millions and millions of bag chasers. And you guys are going to be some of the first ones of this great thing that we're building, right? And we sitting all around and we do a bag chaser meetup, and all of us is old and we got diapers on. And we're going to be talking about the time in 2024 where we was witnessing it. And we didn't really take into consideration how significant the moment would be at the time. But I'm trying to tell you that he has basically cemented his place in history among the greats simply from his winning the presidency and not being expected to in the first place, losing the presidency, and then there being conspiracies thought to be placed against him as far as election interference, as far as them trying to prevent him from being president of the United States of America, and then coming back and not only winning, but winning by a landslide while trying to be assassinated at the first. This is going to be taught in history books. I'm telling you, it's going to be taught in history books. You are living history. Us reporting on it is historical. Regardless of whether you like them or you don't like them, it's going to be taught in history books. He's going to be looked at as a legend. He's going to be looked at amongst the greats, amongst the George Washingtons and Abraham Lincolns and the FDRs and all that. The Kennedys. He is going to be looked at amongst those people. It's very few people, very few presidents are going to be more famous than him. He is more famous by a landslide, and I never thought that I would see this in my lifetime, than Obama, when black people just couldn't wait to get a person of diversity, equity, and inclusion into the White House. It's crazy. He will absolutely be regarded as one of the greatest presidents of our lifetime.
Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all
that
seen
picture is crazy.
The crowd realized
whoever
I was
took
okay
that picture
and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey Comparator. Unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded two other great warriors.
And it's crazy to be living through it, too.
David Dutch and James Copenhaver.
Because we only get to see a lot of the historical moments. We never think about what history is going to be.
All three families of these tremendous people came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. Respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. He was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life self. What a fine man he was.
Wow, this dude is playing to his constituents and his supporters. They should have never, ever even let him run for president in the first place if they didn't want to lose 10 times over. He single-handedly, I mean, they had some hand in their own demise. He single-handedly destroyed the Democratic Party. They are in absolute shambles. They can't even get Cardi B to endorse them anymore. He single-handedly destroyed, shout out to the people on PayPal, I appreciate you, I'm going to read that shortly, single-handedly destroyed this Democratic Party. Man, in shambles. I'm not sure that Democrats can even compete for getting into the White House ever again for the next 12 years, maybe. That's crazy. Dismantled the entire party, created his own movement, sold a bunch of hats. His shoes is probably going to sell out. If anybody got any of the shoes, StockX is probably on 10. Jesus Christ.
I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay.
This dude is, somebody said it in the chat. They said he in God mode. He is definitely in God mode.
They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey.
Look at that. The Democratic National Convention should just cancel itself next month. The Democratic National Convention should just cancel their whole convention next month. And of all places, they having it in the sanctuary city of Chicago. Jesus Christ. You cannot script this any better. If you're talking about a complete implosion and an explosion on the Republican side, it is a phenomenal day to be a conservative. It is a phenomenal day to be a conservative. A lot of y'all picked the wrong side. A lot of y'all picked the wrong side. I don't blame you. I picked the wrong side in previous elections too. Not the past election, but the previous elections when we elected Bush and we elected Obama and all of that. Actually, I didn't vote for Bush. I'm going to be honest with you. But y'all picked the wrong side. This is a tough day for anybody that's liberal, for anybody that like to wear rainbows and then change and pervert what God had said and ordained to be a covenant between man and God, that he would never flood the earth again in order to destroy it completely. This is a horrible day for you. A horrible day for you. I can't believe you still standing on the fence. You ain't even got to admit that you was on that side. Just rebrand yourself like a woman that used to get ran down inside of the streets. Just rebrand yourself. Yeah, she used to bust it down for a real one, but now she's a wholesome woman. Amber Rose did it. Let me give a round of applause for Amber Rose. Amber Rose did it. Amber Rose has completely rebranded herself, and now she's on the winning side, and people are giving her props and opportunities and saying that she got a future in politics and all of this stuff. Man, listen, you are on the wrong side of history. I'm telling you, you've been on the wrong side. You still trying to hold on to diversity, equity, inclusion. It's dead. It's gone. You still following Amanda Seals and D.L. Hughley? You off. You still rolling with Umar Johnson? God bless you. But if you don't think that it's a new day that's coming and history is now rewriting itself every single day, you are so off. You are so gone, big dog.
Life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend. We will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never.
It's over. It's over. We ain't even got to get into this. We don't even have to look at the whole speech or none of that. It's over. This is done. This is done. This is done. This is done. It's over. Can you imagine Biden even being able to give a speech after that, after he just kissed the firefighter's helmet and showed a check of people donating to the cause and him getting grazed in the head with or his ear with a bullet and all of that? It's over. It's been over. Black men ain't even listening to their wives no more. Their wives are saying, "Oh, honey, we still got to stay Democrat." Black men like, "Nah, baby, listen. I done been a simp for you my whole life, but not right now. Not right now. No longer am I going to simp for you." They not doing it. They not doing it. They going their own way and they say either you with me or you against me. I'm telling you, it's over. It's been over. Let me read some of these Cash Apps and Super Chats and PayPals and stuff like that. I got to give y'all some acknowledgement for supporting the platform. I got to acknowledge the people for supporting the platform. Give me a second. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge Philip Jackson. Shout out to Phil, Big Phil in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Supporting what we got going on over here in these streets. Phil Jackson is one of my rich friends. He dropped a 100 ball on Cash App. He said, for something in the bucket, just for something in the bucket. Man, Phil, I love you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform. I got to read some of the super chats. Clay Hart says, Trump increased salary and did a tax cut for the military. Biden removed the tax cut, so most military are going to vote for Trump. Biden is weak. Hey, remember when I was telling y'all, a lot of people act like they don't remember, but I'm going to remind you. Remember when I was telling y'all that, shout out to my homegirl, Shawnee. It's Shawnee's birthday. I'm going to have to hit Shawnee up and see what she's talking about. Remember when I was telling y'all when we was having a conversation about the UAW and how they was trying to endorse, Biden and what was his name? What was the UAW president? Sean Fain. Remember when Sean Fain was out there and he was advocating for, and we're going to endorse Biden for president? Remember when all that pandering was happening? I said, y'all on the wrong side. Y'all on the wrong side. Y'all picking the wrong side. You're picking the wrong side, and nobody wanted to listen to me. I was right. I've been right. See, everything that we make a prediction about or anything that we stand on, we standing on it for the long term. We don't worry about what people say in the short term. We more concerned about whether or not it's going to make sense for us in the long term. Shout out to, hold on one second. I got to give an acknowledgement to the people. Shout out to Myria Angel. Says, good morning, Anton. Missed watching the show live from Los Angeles. I woke up early and hit the gym and finally got a live show. By the way, when is the next stock club? The market has been crazy the past few days and would love to get your perspective. God bless and have a good day. The next stock club should be Tuesday. Let's do Tuesday because my daughter goes out of town. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform. Next stock club will be Tuesday. All right. Let me read some of these other super chats. Thank you for everybody that supports the platform. Says Kid Rock had me laughing so hard. Shout out to Kid Rock, Michigan man out there in these streets. Chase Barnes says Hulk Hogan ran wild with his speech. He cut a dope pro for Trump. Shout out to Chase Barnes. Shout out to P. Shank says, good morning, Anton Daniels in the Millionaire Morning Show. I appreciate you, love. Mr. Lott in the building says he crying like he just heard the news about G-Baby. Akeem Long says, Reverend Jesse Jackson wept at the night Obama won. Did he really? I don't even remember that. I was so broke that I couldn't think about what nobody else is doing. I was focused on myself. This man is an epic orator and know the grandkids will get a kick out of him. Team Trump. Shout out to High Tolerance in the building. Stephen Slayer 1 says, Anton, YouTube is highly restricting what you can super chat about right now. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you. Daniel Harris says, who do you think will win, a current Trump or Obama in his prime? Current Trump, 100%. If we know in hindsight what Obama had or what Obama was to become and that he was really a champion for the alphabet community versus who this Trump is, there's no way in the world that Obama would be able to compete. If Obama ran today, if they gave him another opportunity in another term, Trump would absolutely wipe the floor based off of the current climate. I believe that in my heart. Mackie, 12Z, 20Z. Mackie 20Z says Elon Musk is arguably one of the most influential African Americans in the past eon. A lot of people don't even know that he was born in South Africa. Well-traveled 901 says, agreed, AD, my awesome black wife, and I proudly support the Trump campaign. Shout out to you. Trisha Belly in the building says, Anton No Sleep Daniels. It's The Rock. Shout out to Trisha Belly in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. UAW and Actor Strike. I was here all summer long last year. AD was on it. He said winter was coming. I said it. I said that they was on the wrong side of history. They were going to lose. I'm often right. I'm more right than I am wrong. Shout out to everybody that show love and support the platform. Let's keep it rolling. A Dallas mayor switched over from being a Democrat into being a Republican. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on your notifications. Y'all, let's get it popping. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get it popping. Can he be trusted, y'all? Can he be trusted? He does have hair. He is missing a mustache. We don't trip about the no bill, but where your stash at, man? We're going to roll with him, though. We're going to give him an opportunity.
4 years ago, progressive activists stood on my front lawn with the stated goal of intimidating my family. They wanted me to defund the police. I said no.
I never understood the defund the police movement. That was so stupid to me.
Folks, I grew up in high crime neighborhoods. What we wanted was more and better policing, not less.
Facts.
As mayor, I knew we needed to increase support for our police department and prioritize violent crime reduction. I'd been a Democrat my entire life, albeit a conservative one. But when those activists tried to scare my kids, my fellow Democrats were silent.
You know what's so funny? The thing that I realize about Democrats is that they will eat their own. Most people that claim to be a Democrat, they will turn on you at the drop of a dime, and they will eat their own if it doesn't align with their agenda. They don't believe in the American Constitution. They don't believe in the freedom of speech. They believe in cancel culture. They will turn on you. If you don't fit into the narrative or you don't align yourself, if you got a difference of opinion, they will absolutely turn on you until they realize that you was right, and then they're going to come crawling back. They will eat their own, and that is a fact. I've never understood making your neighborhoods less safe by having less police and more crime running rampant. And we see an exact example of that in Chicago and Oakland and Los Angeles. Oakland more than anywhere. Because when you have a city that you can't even protect, it doesn't just hurt the residents. It also hurts the business community. It hurts the teams that leave. It hurts the in and outs that decide that they want to close their doors. It hurts public safety. It increases homelessness. It absolutely ruins your communities. And nothing good ever comes from having less protection inside of your neighborhoods, and then for your children to be able to walk back and forth to school without having to worry about getting their heads busted open or getting peed on by a homeless person. I never understood the idea. When I heard them say defund the police, I said, these people it's Friday. Can I be frank? I said, these people are batshit crazy. When I heard them come up with a campaign and it started catching, and in the meantime, I was looking at them burning up Wendy's and AutoZone, I said, is everybody lost their mind, or are we the only ones that's paying attention to what's happening in the streets? Did everybody lose their mind, or are we the only ones that's paying attention to what's happening in the streets? Why would you, as I was cozied up, looking at all of the foolishness that was happening on TV, why would you defund your own protection? It's the dumbest thing that I had ever seen in my life. And y'all just wrote, I seen you No, not you that's watching over there. You. I seen you. I was out there. I was in the streets. I paid attention. I had my drone, and I was actually flying my drone while y'all was supposed to be saying 3 feet no check, 6 feet no check when it came to the pandemic. Y'all didn't even have no mask on. So you couldn't go to work. You couldn't open up your business. You couldn't even get in the elevator with people. But you could all crowd together, and they was allowing for people to go up there, burn up their own community, tear down statues, and say defund the police. And you stupid people was out there running around being idiots, including white people, because it wasn't even just the majority of the people that was out there wasn't even black people. It was white people. It was Asians. It was Hispanics. It was Latin people. It was Cubans. It was people from all over every kind of nationality. And y'all painted y'all face. Y'all took y'all mask off. Y'all ran up and through the streets. You said defund the police. More than half of them went back over to their neighborhoods because they wasn't going to be the ones that suffered as a result of them defunding your neighborhoods. Remember that. Remember that. And I said, listen, I was looking at them. I said, look at these idiots. Y'all are aligning with people that's not even going to be there in your neighborhood when the police ain't there to save you. They went back. Look, they was traveling from way out in the burbs where they tax dollars was going to keep more police on the streets. And they came into your stupid neighborhood, and you the idiot. You let them come in there and ruin your community. They came over there in your neighborhood. They protested. They said defund what was going on there so they could devalue your property, come in and buy your house, and then kick you out because you can't even afford to pay the property taxes, nor can you afford to even protect yourself. You got finesse. You got finesse more than anybody. I've never seen a group of people get more finesse than people that are liberal and the ones that have the least. And now you out there at the check cashing place trying to get an advance and what's supposed to be an economy where we have the least amount of unemployment, but you can't even afford to send your kid to school. You couldn't afford to pay your student loans that you volunteered to take out, but you let these stupid people that wasn't even from your community in your neighborhood come in, make signs, put masks over their face so that they didn't have to be on national TV and we can figure out who they are when they go back into corporate America. And they was bored. They told you to defund your own neighborhoods. You burned down your own community. You then became a food desert. You don't even know where to go in order to fix your car. You can't even park your car without getting it broken into because ain't nobody going to have no response time. Over there in Pittsburgh, they literally said that we're not even going to send police out past a certain time anymore. And now you over there struggling, suffering, and you think it's the system. It's you. You the system. You the system. How does that make sense to say I don't want protection in my own neighborhood? The very people, the first thing you think of when something happens to you is to call 911, call 911, call the police department. And you want less response time? We was complaining about the response times back when we was suffering the most. When we was in the hood, we was like, man, the response time. We're the 12th precinct. 7 Mile, over by Woodward. Man, where all of the police at? This is back in the early 90s, late 90s, mid 90s. Man, where the police at? We wanted the police to come and save us because we was under duress. And you said defunded because you an idiot. And because you ain't never been through nothing. You don't really understand what it means to be under duress. To see a crack house across the street, you let these people come into your neighborhood and tell you need to defund the police. I'm sorry. I got off on a little bit of a rant. I got off on a little bit. Let me let the man, they should have had me at the Democratic National Convention. I would have been talking just like I'm talking to you right now. I volunteer as tribute for the 2028 Republican National Convention to speak on behalf of these neighborhoods on why y'all been idiots y'all entire lives.
It was Republicans who offered their support both privately and publicly. Party affiliation didn't matter. They cared about doing what was right. Today, Republican mayor of Dallas, Texas, the largest city in the United States led by a Republican.
Is Dallas the largest city led by a Republican? I didn't know that.
I wanted to say I didn't leave the Democrat Party because they left me first. But the truth is, on matters of public safety, The Democrats were never actually there for me, for Dallas families, or for the American people. With their words and their actions, and sometimes with their silence and their inaction, Democrats in power demonstrate they don't care about stopping the killers or the thieves who terrorize black and brown communities. They don't care about securing our borders. And they don't care about dangerous homeless encampments. No, the heart of today's woke Democrat Party is with the criminals, not with their victims.
That's true. He's 100% right. Take a lot of courage to switch parties in the middle of your mayoral duties. Because I know that Dallas is a pretty liberal place in a liberal city. I like Dallas. Dallas is one of my favorite cities to visit. But it's a pretty liberal place, man.
Democrats are good at using safe words, but terrible at building safe neighborhoods and safe cities.
Facts.
But there is a better way. Dallas bucked national trends and achieved a remarkable 3 straight years of violent crime reduction. Today, Dallas is viewed as America's safest large city, and Republicans lead 11 of the top 15 safest cities. And that's because Republicans won't be silent about public safety. Folks, let's make our city safe again by supporting Republicans who will stand up and fight for our safety. That's my focus as chairman of the Republican Mayors Association. And you know what else? Together, let's make America safe again by retiring Joe Biden and electing Donald J.
All right. Shout out to the Dallas mayor. We appreciate you for that inspiring speech, my friend. Let me read some of these super chats and we're going to continue on with the show. Another great show. Another one. Shout out to Zell. I appreciate you. Idris Camara is in the building and says, shout out to Anton. I'm 26 and grinding right now and trying to run up this bag. How can I book a coaching call or the content, big homie? Anybody that want to do business with me, email me. Don't DM me. Email me. Anton Daniels. 413@gmail.com. It's Anton Daniels, 413@gmail.com. You can email me and we're going to get this bag and we're going to run it up together, big dog. All right. Let's continue on with the show. 400 cases of beef. Trucks is getting robbed. And then Philly is also making people go back to work. This is all happening in Philadelphia. Shout out to my Philly people. But I got to bring y'all to the front of the congregation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let's get it.
It is becoming a trend, but definitely not what the city needs. Cargo heists. The latest incident happening early this morning in Southwest Philly. Hundreds of cases of beef stolen. You might remember back in April, there was a meat heist in Northeast Philly and another just days later with 100 cases of crab legs stolen in Northeast Philly. And Greg,
what do y'all do with this stuff? When y'all steal food, do y'all go home? Do y'all contribute it and distribute it to the community? Do you sell it to restaurants through the back door at a cheaper price? When y'all steal beef, 400 cases of beef, because this is an actual heist, you know how hard it is to carry a case? Man, I used to get cases of chicken and beef and stuff brought into the restaurant. Ultimately, we would get stuff delivered every single day. That junk is heavy. It's very heavy. If you're going to do a heist for meat, where do you sell? Where is the market at for 400 cases of beef?
turns out it's a bigger issue, nearly a dozen incidents just last month alone. What's going on here?
Yeah, it is definitely a big issue. And one of the problems, speaking with truck drivers, they say there's not enough parking in the Philadelphia region for their trucks. So what you ultimately see is trucks parking on the side of the road like you see here, whether they're closer to their destinations or not, but just parking on the sides of the roads. And what ends up happening is they become vulnerable to crime. Along Delaware Avenue in South Philly, trucks line the ports of Philadelphia, delivering everything from meats, fruits, vegetables, you name it.
I be on the road so much, you can forget the days.
This afternoon, truck driver Andrew Curry is making a pit stop across state lines in New Jersey at a truck stop. But many times that isn't the case, and he says it's because of the lack of truck stops in the Philadelphia region.
You only got 11 hours to drive, and then...
Is that a play, Chasers? Is that a play? How do you make money at truck stops? When I see this type of stuff happen, I don't just report the news and be like, oh man, there's crime happening in Philadelphia, this is happening, that's playing. I don't look at it from that perspective or that lens. I look at it and I'll be thinking to myself, if it's a lack of something, how do they make money? How do truck stops make money? I know that they be charging for showers, food. Somebody said that they actually have to pay to park and stuff like that. How do they make money at truck stops, y'all? I need to know that. I want to know. Is this a business that we need to be looking at getting into, Chasers? And what's the barrier to entry? What's the barrier to entry in order to create a truck stop? Buy land and build something on top of it? What's the barrier to entry? A lot of tricking at truck stops. Truck stops are just like gas stations, AD. A lot lizards. A lot lizards. Y'all wild. Y'all are some wild. Why y'all say who was the dude at the bottom left of the screen? Stop. Stop. That is the mayor of Philadelphia. Class. Time Dog then lost his connection. Maybe the Microsoft outage is also affecting our internet connection. That is the mayor of Philadelphia. Y'all stop being mean.
Got 3 hours of break. So when that time goes...
We got alternatives here. We don't just have... We got 3 different internet sources. I got 3 different high-speed internet sources. So if you ever see me start to freeze a little bit, maybe we getting hit with the outage on one source, but we ultimately got different sources to where we're not going to be affected. So we're going to keep the show rolling. We might get a little bit frozen a little bit, but we back. Let's get to it, y'all.
Wow. And a lot of times I find myself sleeping on the side of the road and the truck, you know, in an unsafe place.
Which is where they become major targets. Philly police say in the last 3 weeks, there have been 11 cargo heists involving trucks. The most recent this morning, just before 5 a.m. on the 2800 block of South 63rd.
Her name is Sherelle Parker. She's the mayor of Philadelphia. The mayor of Philadelphia's name is Sherelle Leslie Parker. All right, she's the 100th mayor of Philadelphia. And I think she was elected this year or something like that. I don't know.
100 cases of beef, estimated at $15,000, were stolen from the back of an unattended cargo truck. Police believe many of these heists are connected.
It's definitely a crime ring, a group of people. We've made arrests of members of this group. We believe it's the same group.
Police say they've been working with federal and state officials to crack down on this operation. In the meantime, some truck drivers say they've been advised by their companies not to even park near Philly.
What we do, we just park like 100 miles out of Philly, and then a rest area or truck stop.
They advising y'all not to even park in Philly at all? Oh man, this sounds like a business opportunity. How do they make money off a truck? Like, it's like a gas station, but I'm wondering, do they also charge them to park there? Do they charge them to park there charge for laundry, showers, food, and parking? Okay, so let me see this. Slide out to Slim Jimmy. He said that Slim Jimmy. They said they charge for laundry, showers, food, and parking. Huh. Really? I'm going to have to do some research.
Well, we can do better than here because we don't want to risk anything.
Police say earlier this year, a driver was thrown to the ground after confronting a group of thieves, which authorities urge drivers not to do.
We're driving all night, or we're driving all morning, and then we got to worry about, you know, not getting proper rest because we got to keep one eye open and keep peeking out just to make sure that the lock is still on the back of the truck.
Now, the question that many people may be asking themselves is, if there is something going on, a heist going on, will the truck drivers actually hear the activity that's going on in the back of their vehicle? Well, we asked the truck drivers, and they had said that they don't hear it because of the fact that a lot of these have refrigerators on the back of them, especially the ones that are carrying the meat, and it is so loud that they can't hear any type of activity that's going on in the back.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. But also on top of that, an armored truck was robbed across from the police headquarters. You can't make this up, bro.
Yeah, limited details at this point. This is the AutoZone at 9th and Edgemont, which you can see is back open at this point. Customers are able to go in and out of the store. The scene here happened pretty quickly. And when I say that it happened in the shadow of the police department here in Chester, I'm not kidding. The morning sun, this place is literally in the shadow. That's how close it is to the police department here in Chester. Now, take a look at video from Skyforce 10. I want to show you what we know at this point.
Shout out to
and tell you a little
Rochelle.
bit about what we don't know.
I'm going to definitely read that
that
shortly.
a Brinks truck was held up here at the AutoZone, and that some things were taken, presumably money, were taken at this point. We can't give you all the information because Chester police haven't gotten back to us with information about the suspects, where they think they went. They did get away, we know that. What did they get? Did they get any firearms, or was it just money? Anything else? We did check with other police departments in the area, including in the state of Delaware and Philadelphia. Philadelphia says they have not been informed of anything about this case. Still waiting for some calls back from Delaware police and federal agencies to see what happened exactly. But again, it happened this morning here, just after noon actually. And we do see from the video, we saw a Brinks employee getting into the back of an ambulance. Does not appear to be too hurt, got in on under their own power. So we are trying to figure out what happened here, what led up to this. Chester police are on a shooting in another part of the city that's completely unrelated. So I'm told they're having a little trouble keeping up to try to get us information about this case earlier in the day. When we get more information, you can be sure you'll get that information as well.
So Philly, have I been missing what's going on in Philly? Have I not been aware? Do I need to be more aware of what's happening in Philadelphia as far as the things that's happening in these streets? Have I been so focused on Chicago and Oakland that Philly needs to be to the front of the congregation? Last but not least, in Philadelphia, they are now requiring all city workers to return back to the office after a fight for them to continue to work from home. Check it out.
Philadelphia city workers are all going back into the office starting today.
Yeah, this comes after a prolonged fight over coming back 5 days a week. NBC 10's Katie Zachary.
Okay, 2 slim trims in there. I see y'all.
He's live for us in Center City with what to expect this morning. Katie.
Well, Mayor Sherelle Parker has pushed for this. She promised to make the city of Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, and biggest green city in the country.
And Mayor Sherelle Parker is the person that is right under me. All right, give her some love.
And she says this return to work for all city employees on a full-time basis gets the city one step closer to that. You may remember the city's virtual work schedule began back in 2021 because of COVID-19. So now, after more than 3 years, it's back to work in person full-time for all Philadelphia city workers. Earlier this month, District Council 47 of AFSCME filed a lawsuit claiming Mayor Parker's back-to-work mandate violated its contract. There was a 2-day hearing last week where union lawyers argued if there was a change, it had to be bargained with its leaders.
I ain't never seen a group of people try to bargain. Is that what the union is fighting nowadays, from coming back into the office? Look, listen. I know that y'all want to work from home. I get it. I don't ever want to go back into the office either. I'm literally dialed into my computer right now. I know y'all want to stay remote, and I'm with you. I don't blame you. I'm in that same boat. However, for whatever reason, I don't believe that was a part of the negotiations as far as the union being able to bargain on whether or not you should work from home or not. That's crazy. Stop it. That's not, you can't say, oh man, we don't want to come back into the office. Boy, if you don't get your butt back in the office.
In the end, a judge denied the request to stop Mayor Parker's mandate, so all city workers are expected back to work in person today.
We know that this is going to have a devastating impact. Some people may leave right away. Some people might wait until they get employment.
Our workforce is considerably important to us, right? We want to ensure that we continue to build on the culture
nowhere to go.
And the experience that's positive in the workplace.
You ain't got nowhere to go.
Coming up in our next half hour, you'll hear what some business owners and restaurateurs throughout Philadelphia are offering today and throughout the week to help ease that transition of all of those employees coming back to work in person full time. Good morning. That's right. It's a big day. It's going to be a big adjustment for many of those city employees who have worked from home for the last several years. In fact, leading up to this point, 20% of city workers still worked from home. So bringing them all back in person today is going to be an adjustment. But business business owners throughout Philadelphia say they are ready. They're excited for more foot traffic around mealtime. And in turn, many are offering incentives or free or discounted food for city employees who walk in and show their ID. This comes after Mayor Parker's return to work mandate was upheld last week, despite lawyers for union work.
Let me tell y'all why. Let me tell you why it's so important for y'all to work from home. For y'all to get back into work, or why they believe that it's important for you to go back into work and to go back into the office, because it's an economy. You working from home actually does not stimulate the economy. You don't go out for lunch. You don't go and buy gas. You don't stop at gas stations. You don't trick off on these hoes. You don't meet people in person, have team luncheons, team outings. Different businesses don't benefit as a result of it. And so when y'all work from home, y'all actually messing up the money in Philadelphia. Y'all messing up the economy. You know what I'm saying? Some people in the chat are saying, oh, it's not safe. No, y'all going to get back to work like the rest of them. Just like the rest of the people, y'all going to go ahead and get back to work. We don't care if it's safe or not. We don't care how you feel about it. You're going to be right back in a sack just like everybody else. Don't trip. Don't trip. Don't even trip about it. We got you, boo. We got you. You going to be back in the office. Get your lazy butt to work like everybody else. It was a privilege. It was a benefit. You should have benefited from it. You should have developed some more skills. You should have went to school. You should have went to school online while you was working from home, got a second job, benefited from it, but you thought that this was going to be forever. I remember when people were running out and buying homes because they said, we ain't never going to be returning back to work. The economy is different now. And nobody is going back into the office anymore. Joke's on you. Joke's on you. You are going to take your behind back to work. You're going to get in that office. You're going to sit there. You're going to be a work wife to a work husband. Your boss is going to be sitting there telling you to bring some coffee. And you're going to get back to work just like the rest of the people. Because guess what? You ain't got no options. That's what happens when you ain't got options. See, listen, if I got to go back to work full time, I got options. 100%, I got options. I'm sitting there looking at my computer. It's looking at me. I'm looking at it. It's looking at me. I'm looking at it. They said, here, we're going to start transitioning back into the office. I was like, okay. I'm still sitting right here. I'm still sitting right here. And look, there will be remote work opportunities. But if you want those opportunities, then you have to develop a skill set that allows for you to be able to negotiate that at the next place that you work at. If you working in for the city or something like that, and you're not actually a technology worker or something, you come on back. Come on, Clevis. You've been late to all of these meetings every day. Can't get out of your bed in time. Ain't focused. Ain't taking care of business. Come on back into the city. Y'all need to go and get to work anyway, because you can't find no husband sitting at home. Your husband is going to work every day. Your husband is out in the street. Your husband is is in passing. You're going to meet your husband walking down the street. Y'all keep being on these apps. Go on back to work. You can watch the Millionaire Morning Show while you at work. Don't trip about it. Don't trip about it. Come on back to work, Clevis. All right? Y'all need to stop robbing trucks and getting into foolishness anyway. Idle mind is a devil's workshop. Come on back to work, baby girl. Come on back to work. I don't know if I missed any super chats, but I'm going to try to read them all, because when I lost my connection, I lost some of them. Antonio Watkins says the store makes all the money. I heard it costs like a couple $1 million to open up a truck stop. Is that true? Shout out to the new bag chasers. Slim Jimmy is in the building, says charge for laundry, shower, food, and parking. Yeah. That might be a play. Melvin Johnson says all the migrants that got that Bridge Link card money now. Trump 2024. Shout out to my dog Mel J in the building. Rochelle Brown says insight and perspective is greatly appreciated. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Chad for Morris is in the building, says in 2008, I was working a job that was cutting back on my hours and just had my first son. Lack of money caused me to steal fruit for my job. I was on food stamps. It wasn't much since I had income. Got to do what you had to do. Had to do what you had. I get it, big dog. I get it, big dog. As long as you ain't still selling food, we good. Shout out to my rich friends in the building. Said testing to see if he was still on the YouTube pip. We good. Shout out to all of my friends, man. Chris James. How about we do one more segment? Since it's such a good day? Even though technology has gotten my interviewee and the person that I need coming in. Shout out to Christiana Hurt. I like Christiana. I was supposed to have her coming in today, but we're going to get her in another day. We're going to see what's happening in these streets. I need to go and figure out what's up with these I got a hotel room. Anyways, let's go ahead into the next part of the show. Ramping up homelessness sweeps and passing in the ER. I'm going to tell y'all what I'm talking about shortly. But first, let's go over to Oakland and the Bay Area and in San Francisco to let y'all know what's happening from these homelessness camps and the fact that they are now about to ramp up sweeps, or at least that's what they say, over in these areas. Take a look.
Coming weeks, an increase in homeless camp sweeps is expected in a number of Bay Area cities.
They're now permitted to take place after a federal judge denied a request to block those sweeps. KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll went to one of those encampments, expected to be removed. All right, Bailey, what did they tell you?
Yeah, Mike and Christina.
We can do a TikToker complaining segment next time. Next time, Fi Brown.
Of course, those residents aren't necessarily happy with that decision. They say at this point there is just nowhere for them to go. And they say sweeps like this don't actually do anything to permanently solve the homeless crisis.
There's nowhere for any of us to go. I mean, every part of the city, someone's getting thrown out of it somewhere else.
Over the next month, a wave of homeless encampments will be cleared out in San Francisco and
That looked like Mad Max. That literally looked like Mad Max. That's crazy.
Last month, the Supreme Court ruled that enforcing rules against unhoused residents sleeping outside does not violate the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause, though residents and homeless outreach service centers like the Coalition of Homelessness pushed back.
In the face and flying in the face of every public health.
It's always somebody who you can't even tell whether or not they're a girl or a boy or what they identify as, that is in a room with a fan on them and some papers hanging over their head, may even be recording this in the bathroom, that's sitting there telling you what's best for the city, even though homelessness is running rampant over there in Oakland and San Francisco and all across the West Coast, to be honest with you, frankly. It's always somebody who got a hairstyle that you can't tell what they identify as that's going to sit there and have this conversation with you and debate with you about it. Some young liberal that's 26 years old is going to say, hey, shut the hell up, bro.
Study and academic research paper that has come out of any major institution that shows how to solve homelessness does not point in any direction to increase
Man, iron your collars before you talk to me, bro.
criminalization.
Just yesterday, a U.S. federal judge denied residents' request to block the sweep, so encampments like this one at the Toll Plaza Beach in Oakland will be cleared out starting as soon as next Tuesday.
You can't have that, bro. You cannot have that. Listen, I don't know if they need to create a hamster dam. How many of y'all are familiar with Amsterdam? Y'all know what Amsterdam? Amsterdam. I got them blues. I got them reds. Some of y'all not familiar with Amsterdam. Let me tell you what Amsterdam is. Amsterdam was, it was basically in an encampment in the wire that they allowed for everybody to do whatever it is that they wanted to do when they wanted to do it, as long as it was contained within a certain square mile in the wire in Baltimore. It was called Amsterdam. It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be called New Amsterdam or something like that, but they didn't know how to pronounce it. Amsterdam. And so in order to keep the rest of the city safe and to get all of the drug dealers off of the corner and stuff like that, what they did was they created an environment where they had a whole bunch of vacant houses and buildings and stuff where basically people was over there doing whatever it is that they want. They can go and get them some Dome. They can go pay for some box. They can go get them some blues, some reds. And it was called Amsterdam. Now, unless you're creating a Amsterdam, you can't have this type of nonsense just in all places. You could just park on the side of the road, get you a old expedition, park on the beach, bother all of the residents, mess up all of the tourism in the city. You can't just mess up the money like that. You can't mess up the money like that. So now this is the situation that we in.
For people like Michael Perillo, they said they don't know where to go next.
It all comes down
Y'all
to
watch The
affordable
Wire.
housing. Most of these people are living in their RVs or motorhomes or everything because they just can't afford the rent of apartments anymore.
San Francisco will follow suit. During the mayoral debate on Thursday, San Francisco Mayor
This mayor right here is amongst the worst mayors in America. She sit there and she championed the alphabet community while her city continues to fall apart. It largely inherited from Gavin Newsom.
Breed said aggressive sweeps will start next month. In a statement sent to KTVU, the mayor's office said, San Francisco is a city that prioritizes compassion and we will continue to lead with services. But we cannot allow for people to refuse services and shelter when offered and available. They went on to say our goal is to bring people indoors. Camping or living in our streets isn't safe for our community, residents, and people in need of support. Perillo, who has never been to an overnight shelter because he wants to save bed space for older unhoused residents, said more resources aren't needed, but rather the ones in use need to be better managed.
Most of us don't want to see people hurt or oppressed in the streets. Most of us do not want our veterans laying out in the streets. Like, we're Americans. We have pretty common values and core fundamental beliefs. So what it all comes down to is that our country's being mismanaged.
That's insane. But that's not as worse. That's not as bad as this, ladies and gentlemen. A man in the Bay Area went to the hospital and he wound up dying because he had to wait too long. They say upwards of almost 8 hours to ultimately be seen by a doctor. Check it out.
Tonight, we investigate Kaiser Hospital, specifically the response time during a health emergency. Minutes can be the difference between life and death.
A Vallejo man died after spending more than 8 hours in the ER waiting for treatment. Now the family is blaming Kaiser. Let's bring in investigative reporter Hilda Gutierrez. Hilda.
Our investigative unit found the patient's death motivated a federal and state investigation into Kaiser Vallejo's operations. And we learned that some nurses at the hospital who say the facility was frequently overcrowded and understaffed had been warning management those conditions could turn deadly just days before his death. It's where we're rushed by ambulance during a medical emergency. But 53-year-old Francisco Delgadillo drove himself to the ER at Kaiser Vallejo last December with severe chest pain. He arrived at 3:44 p.m. His wife and sons met him in the lobby.
He kept insisting to get checked because every second, every instant, every minute that went by, the pain was getting stronger.
Delgadillo's medical records show emergency room staff perform an EKG, blood work, and checked his vitals within minutes of his arrival and assigned him a level 2 priority. And the waiting began.
There was a lot of people in the waiting room, to be honest. None of them seemed like they were as distressed as my father was.
Francisco's family says the minutes turned into hours as the father of 4 held on to ticket number 29, the number he was assigned.
He was holding tight on his shirt where his heart was. He was like struggling to sit on the chair. He kept moving around. He was laying down on the floor.
In an act of desperation, a state report indicates the family called 911 from the emergency room. But when paramedics arrived, they said there was nothing they could do since they were already at a hospital.
I turned around, and that's when my husband fell to his knees and went out on the floor.
Delgadillo's medical record shows it was around 11:30 p.m., 8 hours after he arrived, when he collapsed in the lobby and died of cardiac arrest around midnight. His family says he was just 5 numbers away from his turn.
That's crazy.
I went crazy, yelling at all the doctors, kicking the trash cans, throwing water bottles.
Hospital staff say just a month prior, in an in-person meeting, they warned management something like this could happen. Just 3 days before Delgadillo died, ER nurses say they also circulated this petition demanding safe staffing levels.
It wasn't sufficient. It wasn't enough.
Raquel Benito is the union representative for Kaiser Vallejo's emergency room nurses.
When we're surging in winter surges, we need way more staff than that to be able to adequately care for patients.
Benito says the ER was operating with 6 nurses, less than half of the 14 the union says they need. And 8 to 12-hour waits were not unusual.
Who can we blame here? Is it really the hospital? Is it the nurses?
Oh, them pants is tight. I don't know if that dude got a yeast infection or if that's one of them kangaroo pooches that the women be having. That shirt is tight. Them pants is tight. We need to get a bigger set of pants, big dog.
Is it a combination? What do you think happened here?
It's not the nurses. It's not the physicians. It's the leadership at Kaiser.
That's a historically underserved, understaffed, undermanned emergency department.
The Delgadillo family, through attorney Jeff Mitchell, has entered arbitration with Kaiser, accusing the hospital of medical negligence. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and California's Department of Public Health launched an investigation into Kaiser Vallejo's emergency department and found 8 federal deficiencies, including problems in their emergency and nursing services, according to the report. The investigation revealed the following findings.
Oh, y'all are wild in the chat right now. I hate this show. I hate doing this show. This is the most unproductive, non-serious show on a serious conversation. Hey, I'm not watching the chat no more. I'm not watching the chat. Oh man, y'all are wild. Oh, Jesus. I tried to just get on past it. Oh, dog, they did not have to show him like that. They did him dirty. They did him dirty. They did that man dirty. There's no reason. I don't love y'all. I hate y'all. I hate y'all. They did him dirty, Fly Girl Candy. It ain't no reason why the cameraman should have had him in that lens, and then they gonna zoom in on the next one. Oh, they're gonna get mad at me in the chat when I clip this up, but whatever. Let's finish the story. Let's get this done.
According to the report, the investigation revealed the following findings about that night. The ER was described as crazy busy with 30 to 40 patients, but no nurse in lobby to reassess them. The governing body failed to maintain adequate staff and did not follow policy and procedures.
Listen, ultimately what this comes down to is that because y'all don't have enough funding and the hospital don't make enough money, they can't pay the staff, which then this is the doom loop. This is the death loop that happens inside of this, because this doesn't happen inside of other communities that are more, thriving, and inside of other thriving communities. And so, yes, the hospital is responsible for making sure that they have more nurses and stuff like that on staff. But when you are in these desperate communities, this is one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you pour resources into the community, and you be a good business leader, and you put more staffing and stuff like this. And ultimately, it's going to fall on the shoulders of the hospital of why he wasn't seen in the first place because of negligence. But it's a reason why they have only 6 nurses on staff. It's just the facts. Anyways, I hate y'all. Let me read some more of these super chats. Or let me read this other super chat and we can get out of here. Y'all said, blame it on the cameraman. Cameraman ain't no good. Dirty. Cameraman be throwing shade all over people. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out on the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to try to get this video out here for y'all ASAP. Got some editing to do. I might just go home and do my editing from there. What y'all think? I want to pull out the 911 today anyway. I want to pull out the 911 today. So I might head out to the suburbs, go and get the 911 and hit the streets, man. What's the weather going to be like? Let me see what the weather like this weekend. It's So I ain't doing no interviews this weekend. 80s, sunny, 80s all weekend. All right, we'll figure it out. Anyways, make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon. We're going to be in Houston next week. Bag Chasers, we up. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. After hours tonight. We're going to do after hours tonight. You know, on Fridays, we get a little bit more wild because it's the weekend. We going into the weekend. Ain't nobody got to get up in the morning. So we're going to run it up. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe. Love each other. Don't fight. Don't run. Don't fumble no bags. And be good. I got me a little bit of money right here. See my little $5? My little $5 right here. This is my little play money this weekend. My little 5 ball. My little 5 ball. Yeah, we got 5s all day long out in these streets. Don't worry about it. We keep the little money on the top and we keep the big money on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So we can trick off on your favorite celebrity. You know what I'm saying? They're going to bust it down for a real one. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Greatest morning show on earth. I'm going to see y'all tonight on After Hours. Peace.